What is up, wrestling fans? Welcome to episode 116 of Smack Talk from SmarkOutMoment.com. I am your host, as always, Tony Mango, and with me on the mic this evening, we have Stephen Wago,
Yo.
Miguel Leon,
Howdy.
Mike Payton.
I just want to say that whoever it was that decided to join us on the Monday Night Raw post show in defense of Miguel, if you were expecting me not to make fun of Miguel this episode, well, I'm afraid I have some bad news. Miguel jokes are only going to get worse.
And speaking of jokes, we also have Drew White. That was easy.
The unofficial co-host of today's episode.
You're off to a good start, Drew.
Mute time. Woo, gotta go cry to myself.
Tonight on the show, we're going to be reviewing all of the matches that were featured on this year's Royal Rumble pay-per-view event, as well as running down everything else important that happened this week in wrestling. You know the big story that we're going to be talking about. But that's coming up in part 2 and onward. Before we jump into any of those stories, we have a little something that starts off every single episode, and that's the Ask Him Wrestling Trivia Question of the Week. We've had a Royal Rumble theme for these Ask Hims lately, so last week revolved around the Iron Man spot. The question to the panel was, name the two men with the longest and shortest time spent in a single Royal Rumble. Shortest being Santino Marella, longest being Rey Mysterio. Question to you was, who has spent the most cumulative time spanning all of their Royal Rumble appearances combined? The answer, by the way, was Triple H. He almost spent 4 hours, 3 hours and 51 minutes and 32 seconds, according to most accounts. Second was Shawn Michaels, by the way, just about 10 minutes less than Triple H. Who got it right? I. Curry, Thomas Sander, who also went on and guessed some more people. Jamesy guessed HBK, but like I said, he was number 2. And Awesome Piano Man, it was not Drew Carey. On to this week's question, which will be the last one of the Royal Rumble theme statistic things. So if you were annoyed with those, that's enough, right? For the panel, we all know that Roman Reigns beat Kane's record with 12 eliminations, but that's not always the case. The person who gets credited of throwing out the most amount of people can sometimes be 10. Maybe it's sometimes just a handful. Your question, guys, give me a number. What is the average most eliminations in a Royal Rumble usually?
7.
Ding, ding, ding. 7. You went on SmarkOutMoment.com, didn't you?
No, that was a good guess.
Lucky number 7. More often than not, one person eliminates 7 people. And there's actually 3 different years where 2 people eliminated 7 people. A couple times it's 5, and then we get like the 1 or 2 instances where somebody knocks out, 10, 12 people, like that kind of stuff. So that brings us to the question to the audience. Who is the man who has held the distinction of being the person to eliminate the most amount of people in a Royal Rumble, the most amount of times? And I'll give you a hint. He did it 4 separate times being the most dominant person. But one of those years, he tied it with somebody else who had the same amount, kind of like that whole 2 people getting 7 thing. Go ahead, take a guess, leave your comments below, send a tweet to @SmarkOutMoment, and on the next episode, we'll divulge the answer to you guys. And now, on to part 2 with the hot tags.